Tour Junkies.
What's going on, golf fanatics? The Tour Junkies podcast for the Valspar Championship 2022 from the Innisbrook Resort Copperhead course. Poisonous Snake Pit coming at you. New background Pat Perry coming at you, getting toutier and toutier, just dripping that tout all over the place here.
That's right.
I'm pumped. We're going to get right into the top of the betting board for the Valspar Championship. The shorter range, Pat, up to 25 to 1. Talk through the betting approach. Talk through some of these guys, coming over from a long week at the Players Championship where Cam Smith
What a week.
took it down. And I got some names. I got a name up here I hate. Actually, I may rant on him now. I may rant on him on the DraftKings show. But we're going to have a good one tonight, Pat. Before we get into that, top of the board, I got the tequila tonight, little tequila soda and orange, one of my favorites.
Tequila.
The weather starts warming up. This is a great beverage.
That is.
What do you got? You got a beer?
Just a little beer tonight. A little Classic City Lager. Good stuff. Not very high. It's not very high test. DB.
Well, it's lager. It's lager.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we had a great week last week. The Players Championship was fun. It was carnage. I got to meet Siwoo last week. Hopefully everybody saw that. Secured the
That
Woo.
feels like ages ago.
It really does. It does. We did the show live in person on your couch last week. That was great. Mm-hmm. What a great show that was. We may be doing that again very shortly to be announced later. But I'm excited, man. We got a good show tonight. Top of the betting board for the Valspar, Pat, up to 25 to 1. You got some of these guys returning from, like I said, from TPC. JT, Hovland, Xander had him a weekend. He had nothing to do. So did Morikawa. Louis Oosthuizen, who kind of fizzled on Sunday, had a chance. Could have hit for us on the card. He was the one name we both had. He bombed. Sam Burns, who had a chance and also kind of bombed. Dustin Johnson, who shot a 63 on Sunday to tie the course record, and nobody knew it. I don't even know the broadcasting team knew it. I think I saw one shot. I don't know what was going on with that. Jason Kokrak, Terrell Hatton, and Matthew Fitzpatrick. So Fitzpatrick, Morikawa, Xander, those three, I think, are the ones that really fell victim to the near 3.5 shot wave difference at TPC Sawgrass. And all had their weekends free up, which, could be looked at as a good thing coming into the very difficult Innisbrook course, the Copperhead course at Innisbrook. Now, I did release the course breakdown video earlier today and podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. It's already up. I spent about 15 minutes giving you the stats, the trends, the player quotes that I find important when it comes to researching and understanding what does well at Copperhead and what this course is all about. So you're going to want to go listen to that. Pat and I are all studied up, and we're not gonna bore you with the details on the golf course, Pat. But what are you doing up here at the top of the board, if anything? And tell me one name you're going to avoid. Yeah.
Last week. I really thought that he was going to come in on Sunday and contend, or Monday, I guess you could say, and contend for a win, but he did not. But still, I mean, I like Houston a lot here. He's got great history. As a matter of fact, the history here is weird. It's kind of like last week. Everybody's all over the place. You don't get a lot of good, consistent history on this course from certain guys. But he does have really good, consistent history. That he's played here 4 times in the last 5 years. 3 of those were top 10s, including the second place finish in 2019. Remember, they did not play here in 2020 because of COVID. And another big difference is, I will say this: last year was in May, right? When in May, yeah.
Yep.
And so it's a little bit different as far as the grass surface. At that time, they didn't have as much overseed. It was kind of getting, it was more their natural Bermuda surface.
Yeah.
Whereas this year, there's a little more overseed that's in there, or a lot more overseed that's like basically tee to green. But I do like Usti a lot this week. I think at 24 to 1, that's a good number. And then why can we not go back to Sam Burns? He's 22 to 1 in some places I've seen. the deal with Burns, before really Arnold Palmer, is he just didn't have the hot putter. He had 3 straight weeks, I believe, where he lost strokes putting, which is kind of unusual for Sam Burns because he's a great putter, especially when he gets on Bermuda. And maybe that's why, it's because he wasn't on much Bermuda before that. But, the last couple weeks, his putter's gotten hot. So I'm okay with getting on Sam Burns. And we've seen back-to-back winners here before. We saw it with Paul Casey just a few years ago. So I like the number there. If you can get Sam Burns closer to like 20-1, 22-1, I think it's a pretty good number.
As always, the Tour Junkies betting show brought to you by our friends at covers.com. Winning starts at covers.com. They've got everything you need. Now the baseball's back up and running. If you like to bet on the old America's pastime, you can do that. NBA stuff, NHL stuff. They've just got everything you need over there. All the tools, free resources. They've got a forum in there with over 500,000 members. It's free. You can get in there and mix it up with some folks. They help over 20 million sports bettors annually, and they've been doing that for over 25 years. Covers.com is where you go to start your betting process, and they're proud supporters, and we're proud supporters of Covers as well. So appreciate Covers.com for supporting the podcast. In fact, our article has already dropped. Everything's all thrown off because the players had to go and be weird. So our article is already up for this week. I've got 3 head-to-head matchups in there, and I mixed it up in the article. I gave you a top 40 lock that I'm going to talk about later tonight. And I gave you 2 nationality prop bets that I love, which normally I don't.
Nice work.
And I'm probably not going to talk about them on the show because people got to go read the article, but it's great. It's good stuff. Covers.com. Pat, so who's your guy you're staying away from? Because I want to talk about a couple of your plays here, but who's the guy you're staying away from in this range?
Well, I think if I'm looking in this range as far as a stay away, there's several that I'm staying away from, but probably the biggest one is crap.
You figuring this out on the fly?
I'm on the fly here.
You didn't see it says stay away like what we've had.
I didn't write that down.
We've had that
I'd say Xander
every week.
I'd say Xander. Staying away from Xander. I mean, I just don't see it.
You liked Xander last week, and then now you're off of him because he missed the cut on the wrong side of the draw.
I'm still gonna be off of him.
Yeah, you just threw something out there right then.
I really did. I just threw that out there.
Okay.
Why are you saying that? Because you don't like? Do you like him?
No,
I like Xander.
I don't have him written down anywhere, but I remember last week. I don't remember a lot from last week's show, but I do remember you liked Xander, and you were like, and you
I put
also
it on the card.
You also had no reasons then, and you have no reasons now. It's just, it's a great play. It's fantastic. It's a great play.
You know who else I didn't have many reasons for? Was Cam Smith last week, and I believe there's a video out there of you dogging me for Cam Smith, and he won the damn tournament.
I posted the video, and I stand by it. Exactly what I said was going to happen happened. He sprayed the ball all over the yard, which I cannot even fathom someone doing at a Pete Dye TPC Sawgrass. I can't even fathom it. I've been to that tournament like a handful of times now. I've played the golf course. I can't even believe that someone can go and lose almost 6 shots off the tee and win. But when you gain
golf,
when you gain
it's 11
putting, then it can happen. Great for Cam Smith. I love Cam Smith. I'm a big fan of Cam Smith. Really do love the guy.
Yeah.
Mad that I wasn't on him. But I think my take last week was right. I think 99 out of 100 times that hits. There's no way he does what he did last week. Anyway, that's the TPC recap. By the way, we do have DP World Tour and Korn Ferry Tour podcasts popping off this week. Wherever you listen to podcasts, subscribe to those, download those. It'll be here on the YouTube page as well. I talked to Garrett Simmons, which I affectionately call him Little Daddy. Because he started off, these little young guys, they think they're all something, right? He started off all hot. He comes out his first show, hits an 80-1 winner, and he starts saying, "Call me daddy," right? And so then I hit Hudson Swafford at 251, Luke List at 75-1, and then he starts calling me Big Daddy. So he's Little Daddy. He said he's got some good nuggets for us this week. He says this golf.
What am I? I mean, I hit a few in there in between. Like, am I Big Uncle?
You don't ever talk to Garrett.
Am I like Big Uncle or something?
No. You're the real dad that's not even present anymore. You've left. You're gone.
Because you put the conversations on a separate group. You don't put it in the group. This is what you do. This is what
He
you
calls
do.
me. He calls me.
DB, this is what you do. I want to see, like, one day I'm going to pull it. I'm going to grab your
When I
phone
die,
from you,
you can have my phone, and I'll show you
and
all the
I'm going to see
conversations I have about you.
all the private texts that you
Yeah.
send others.
Yeah. I
Probably
want you
shit
to.
talking about me.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's all I do is talk about you. I can't stop talking about you. Anyway, Garrett said he knows this course really well. He caddied at this course, and he says it's interesting, but he's got some heaters for us. He's got some bombs he's going to deliver. And then Mark Hill, DP World Tour is coming as well, so check that out. All right, top of the board for me. I agree with the Louis call. I think the 24-1 value on FanDuel right now, if you can still get it, I think it's still there. I'm not sure. But yeah, 16-1 on DK, 24-1 on FanDuel. I mean, like all the reasons Pat said, great record here. He's playing great. Disregard the Sunday kind of, he didn't even get into the picture or the conversation on Sunday. But that's a good number for Louis, I think. You're gonna hear a lot about Matthew Fitzpatrick from me this week. I'm back. I'm on Fitzy
No,
at
I'm
25-1
not at all. No.
Yeah. Uh, obviously caught the bad side of the draw, missed the cut by 2 shots, after losing 3.5 on that side lost 3.5 because of weather, whatever. The guy's playing amazing before that. Everybody was on him. He was chalk in DFS, which, if you faded him, that was the right move. But it made all the sense in the world to bet on Matthew Fitzpatrick, and I think it still makes all the sense in the world to bet on him. I don't know why you would stop now. This course suits him just as well as it has the last few Florida courses that everyone's been talking about how it suits him. He's only played here one time. He missed the cut. No big deal. I don't care. It was in 2018. He's a different player now for sure. And so I think Fitzpatrick at 25-1 is worth a shot. I think he wants to secure that first PGA Tour victory. Now, here's where I think it could get interesting. My fade is Sam Burns, Pat. My stay away that I wrote down is Sam Burns because, and I think I wrote this up in the covers column with a head-to-head matchup on him. I think you could visibly see him fighting the golf swing on Sunday. Like with the coverage that he got, his swing was not bueno. And he also talked about in a press conference, because if you're in the Nut Hut, you know that I read all the press scripts, and if I find something interesting, I'll clip it, screenshot it, and put it in the all the transcripts from the press conferences, put it in the Nut Hut. And my boy AC hooked us up and did that last week because I was at the Players. But I think he talked about how the 3 missed cuts, before the Honda or Bay Hill or whatever it was, 3 missed cuts, how he'd really been fighting something on the swing, and he felt like they got it figured out, which is great. And then he had a good showing, and then he came to the Players. And on the right side of the draw, he was in contention. He was there, and then he kind of looked like he really fought it on Sunday. I'm not saying that means he's going to miss the cut. I'm not saying that means he can't top 25. I'm not saying that means he can't even win. Like, he's obviously Sam Burns. He can win. Yes, he can. I just think if I got to pick a name up here, the guy that I think was clearly fighting it on Sunday, he's now coming to defend his first a PGA Tour victory of his career. This is where he won first, and he's coming around to make it happen, all the responsibilities that go with that. After a dreadfully long week at TPC, one could suppose that young Sam, had he not been this week's defending champion, may have already said sayonara and withdrawn like a few others. I just don't think that's the play at 18-1 for Sam Burns. I'm not saying he can't have a great week. I just say if I got to pick one, it's Sam Burns. He's out for me. Care to rebuttal, or are you good?
I mean, you make some good points, but I don't know.
Hey, Sam, will you clip that? Will you clip that?
I don't know if I
Clip that.
saw the same things you did, that he was fighting a whole lot, but whatever. I mean,
Okay.
it's not like he's playing in the best field in golf, still finished T26.
Yeah.
Maybe he had a bad final round. So did
He did.
Louis. So did the guy you just said you liked, Usti. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I know. I get it. All right, let's keep it moving. You want to?
Sam, why do you put in the chat? You like, if I said clip that, you'd probably be like, fuck you.
And there's the explicit label on this week's podcast.
Sam, I know you wouldn't. I'm just messing with you.
All right,
I'm kind of in a feisty mood. If anybody's,
are you?
Yeah, I started off in kind of grumpy because I had to switch my computer.
Sweet.
Anyway, let's go.
You did. Let's keep it moving. Mid-range up to 75-1. This will be a hot category, I believe. You got guys like Shane Lowry, who was pretty popular last week, ended up playing great. Keegan Bradley. Oh, God, Keegan. I'm actually so glad he did not win because, I mean, of all the times I've bet Keegan Bradley, if had he won last week, not been on my card, I really would have been pissed. Tommy Fleetwood, who continues to just let down people. Alex Noren had a good week. Adam Hadwin had a great Sunday. Our boy Seabez is back. Seabez.
Mhm.
Who else? Russell Knox had a great Sunday. He's up here at 70-1. Kisner had a great weekend, 70-1. HV3 had a good weekend, 70-1. Webb Simpson gonna come back. I don't know what he's doing. So anyway, that's the mid range. Um, I'll start with a few here. I mean, I definitely like Alex Noren. I like this trio here. Well, actually, HV3 can get a little better somewhere else. I like the trio of Noren, Knox, and HV3. Knox and Noren both 70-1. That's the best number you can get. HV3 is 75-1 on FanDuel. You can get a little extra, a little extra cheddar, a little extra moss on HV3 there if you want. So, yeah, I mean, really, all three of these guys showing great form lately. HV3 feels just more like I don't know. It just feels like the guys like it could be coming at any point. Like I know we've been betting HV3 for a long time. He's broken our hearts once or twice. He can't seem to win on the PGA Tour over here, right? Um, but it feels like it's just kind of coming. He's got these good finishes that he's popped up with the T6, obviously last week at the Players, and he does mix it in there with some miscuts, and you're like, what is going on? You look at how the fall went for him last year: 11th at the Northern Trust, 12th at BMW, 11th at Sanderson. He was kind of in the conversation. He's had all these close calls. Last year at the Heritage, he had a close call finish runner up, but now he's got that baby. Life is good, mama's good, baby's good. Like I'm out here. I'm like settling into like my third or fourth year. But he's, and I know producer Sam is bummed about HV3 because he had a ticket on him last week, and he crapped the bed because he can't putt. But the team no putt guys, that's all of a sudden when they get lucky that one week,
Mhm.
there it is. I'm going to talk about another guy. I don't know if I'm going to talk about another guy in the next category that fits that mold. And I just feel like things are starting to align in the universe for HV3. So I'm going to go ahead and start taking a piece. I haven't actually put him on the betting card in a long time. It's been a while since I've had him on the card. So this doesn't feel like a Luke List situation where I'm just auto betting him until he wins. But I'm starting to kind of get the feels, especially 1 week after he really punched producer Sam in the wiener on Sunday. I think that's when we get on it. We start, and then if he wins and Sam doesn't have him on the ticket, then Sam goes absolutely postal. That's what I'm here for. So, yeah, I kind of like that. I mean, Kokrak and Lowry are interesting to me. They may end up on the betting card for me, but I feel like there's too much value in that 70 range. I really like.
Yeah, I think there's this is a big range for me. I love this
Yeah.
range. But first, DB, do you know what I love?
Oh, what's that?
I love very green grass. Okay, I love
Yeah, me
grass.
too. Oh,
I
me too.
love grass. And you know what? It's hard to imagine, but spring is almost here. Actually, is it here? I don't even know. Is it here? Has it
Yeah, I
arrived?
think it's March 21st. Isn't that the first official day of spring?
I believe so. We are so close to feeling that soft grass under our
Mm,
feet. But
mm,
first, we need to get our lawn back, DB. Okay.
yeah.
Thankfully, Sunday gets your lawn growing and it helps to keep it healthy all season long. Okay. You worry about all the chemicals you're using to keep your yard looking at its best. Traditional lawn care lays down 90 million pounds of pesticides each year.
Psh,
Sunday is different, DB. Okay. They're on a mission to change how people care for their yards. Okay. That's what we need to do. We need to be on a mission to care for our yards in the right way. Sunday can help you grow a beautiful lawn without the guesswork or the nasty chemicals. Their custom plans include fertilizer and everything you need to easily care for your lawn, and with ingredients like seaweed, iron, and molasses. You can feel good with kids and pets being around. Okay. All you have to do is visit getsunday.com, put in your address, and their lawn analysis tool does the rest.
oh, yeah.
Okay. I've done this. It's fantastic. I mean, it even shows a picture of it's kind of crazy. It shows a picture of your lawn and everything, tells you everything you're doing wrong. But then it uses soil and climate data to create a personal nutrient plan delivered to your door when you need it. Okay. Just attach the ready to use pouch to a garden hose.
Awesome. Awesome. A garden hose. Is that like a garden gnome? You just take a hoe, like a ceramic hoe that's like looking real thoughty. She got, she got some fishnet stockings on, maybe some cleavage, and you put her out in front of your yard. It's your garden hoe. Can we sell those?
Why do these things happen to me?
she, she's not a hoe. She's a sex worker. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh Lord.
Anyway, it takes less than 15 minutes.
My mind
Uh,
goes to, one of my favorite movies, Pootie Tang,
yeah.
with Wanda Sykes, who who, when somebody pulls up and asks her how much, she goes, "Just 'cause a lady like to stand on the street corner and dress fancy, don't mean she hooking," and then she slaps him in the face. I just picture, like, a Wanda Sykes, Pootie Tang,
Oh
garden
yeah.
hose standing out in your yard. Alright,
Ooh,
finish
all
the
right.
read.
Okay.
I'm
Anyway,
sure Sunday's gonna love this.
Sunday is offering our listeners 20% off. Okay. Full season plans start at just $129, and you can get 20% off of that at checkout when you go visit sunday.com/junkies20. Okay. That's 20% off your custom plan at getsunday.com/junkies20. Get that garden stuff.
Um, actually, before you get to your picks in this range, Pat, we did have a good question I think we should attack, here in the chat. Brian Farmer, or no, Taylor McCutcheon, our boy Taylor, says he writes article for us on tourjunkies.com. How important is course history this week? What are your thoughts? So I talked about this in the course breakdown. Um, there were a number of players, Paul Casey, defending champ, Charles Schwartzel, talked about it. He's won here before too, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Talk,
actually listened to this. This was very good
did you?
information.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
They both said that experience tends to matter here from the standpoint of wind. Both mentioned wind direction and how different wind directions can change, kind of how the whole thing is played, and that it takes a couple times through it to kind of understand that. Now, what's interesting is, like Pat said, when you look at course history of these players, it does tend to be a little like Sawgrass, where like there aren't too many guys who just consistently knock it out of the park here. There's usually a lot of ups and downs, and that may not necessarily mean that course history should be tossed out, but it just may speak again to the variance of this golf course, which I think there is some. This Florida swing is just the Florida variant swing is what
It
it is.
really is.
Um, so I think you weight it, but I don't think you weight it heavily this week. This is not a week where I'm like really going after it. Um, but I am waiting and I am looking at it. And maybe it's not even kind of like last week we talked about how it's not necessarily how they finish each year, but it's like how many times have they played the golf course and like been in tournament conditions here? Do they know something? So like even if their best finish is like a 48th and they've played it 3 times, like that's not terrible. We're not going to toss it out. It means that they've gotten some laps in, but they just haven't really been able to close the door. Now, I think a secret weapon to this is our boy Caddy John Radhouse, who is in the Nut Hut every week, helping out, passing out a lot of good information from the caddies and from his own experience caddying on these golf courses. Caddy John gives us a nice write up every single week in the Nut Hut Caddy info thread, which if you are a paying member, you can see and have access to. So all the more reason to be in the Nut Hut. Plus, a bunch of people won a bunch of money last week. We had a listener win $1 million last week on DraftKings. Won I think it was the 22-22 contest or something. Anyway, that's my take on the history. Pat, I'll let you, piggyback on that and also your picks in this range.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's a little bit of history, but then also just experience. I think is the key that you heard from the players that you were talking about is just knowing their way around this course. So, with that in mind, a few folks that I like in this range, I like Shane Lowry. I'm just going to keep going with Shane Lowry. I mean, he's
Yeah.
been playing fantastic. He's at around 30-1. I think that's a good number for him. If you look at the stats too for Shane, I mean, all of it lines up for a good week. I mean, he's fourth in the field in approach. He's fourth in ball striking, 12th in bogey avoidance, 12th in greens and regulation. The putting's always a little bit of an issue for him on Bermuda, but still, big fan of Lowry this week at 30-1. I like Abraham Answer at 35-1. I think, you know, he's. I'm probably. Am I repeating anybody that you've already said?
No. No. I
Why
would
don't you
not.
like Answer?
I just don't. Wait a minute. No, I just don't. I don't. I'm not. I'm still not. I'm
I
still not
mean, I was
100%
I was kind
sold.
of he was popping a little bit before last week, and I thought, he was up and down again too last week, but still T33 had some good rounds in there. He's got a great history here. Um,
I'm just
so
not sold. uh, It's not that I don't like Answer. I'm still not convinced he's a killer. He's the killer that everybody wants him to be. And I know he won a WGC event last year, which
you
is
think he just likes to be up there and playing golf, and
yeah.
he's not like trying to win or anything?
I
Is that
just
what you're
don't
saying?
I just don't see it, and I don't love the tools that he's working with, and I'm not insanely in love with that. But he is a good player. He is a good player. He probably could prove me wrong here, but I just don't. It's hard for me to pull the trigger on him in an outright situation. I definitely get it in DFS sometimes. I get it top 20 stuff, but I'd stop at his name weekly, and I'm like, good, no, he's not gonna win.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Well, a couple more here that I like. Adam Hadwin is 60 to 1. He has won this golf tournament before.
I thought he was
Came.
70. Is he 60 now?
Um,
Are people betting him down?
Maybe he is 70 to 1. Either
Thought he
way, you could if you can get him
Oh,
at
no, now
70.
he's 60. He was 70. He is 60 now.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say if you can get him at 60, but he's another guy. He's won here, so has a good course history. Was top 10 last week, kind of a sneaky top 10. Finished on the back nine, I believe.
Yeah. He had a good
And
Sunday.
just had a really good. Actually, it's a Monday. DB, it was a Monday,
God dang it. I keep saying that. I don't Now that I'm
but
full-time TJ, I don't ever know what day it is.
it's kind of like when I was working from home during COVID. You would forget like what
Yeah.
day it is. You
And
know.
I think too because yesterday I knew we weren't doing a podcast, and, like, the next day was gonna be the podcast. It made it feel like a Sunday even more because that's how Sundays feel. Like, "Oh, podcast
Yeah.
tomorrow," you know?
Yeah, the whole TPC, it effed everything up. It really did.
Yeah.
But Hadwin, though, he is checking a lot of boxes. Top 10 in approach, top 20 in ball striking. He's top 10 in bogey avoidance. Always putts well. He hits it very accurate off the tee. And one thing I looked at, which I'm going to mention a few times in both shows tonight, is I did look at proximity stats because I think that 175 to 200 range where they're going to have a lot of long irons into these greens, whether it's on the par fives or in these par fours. Remember, you have less par fours, by the way, because there's 5 par threes on this golf course, and 4 par fives. But they're going to have a lot of long irons in here. So I did throw in some proximity stats in that 175 to 200 range just to give me a good idea of some people that I think tend to hit the ball relatively close to the hole
Yeah.
in that range. So
And I will help you here, Pat. Everybody probably thinks I'm ready to, like, jump on you here. Paul Casey, in that if you watch the course breakdown show, I gave a quote from Paul Casey, and he specifically said that this golf course produces a lot of mid to long iron shots, and he
mhm.
specifically said shots between over 175 up to 225 between the par threes that are long and difficult, the 4 par fives as you mentioned if you're going for them there, and then some of these par fours. So I I will agree with you. We want to try and find someone who historically for I think the long term has been known to hit their long irons well. I will give you that. And I'm out.
Yes, and there's not a whole lot of ways to find that other than looking at proximity.
Proceed.
Okay. The last one I'll give you is Kevin Kisner at 75 to 1. I like Kiz coming off of a good week. Although there's two sides of this actually. Kiz coming off of a good week
Yeah.
could mean he's hot, and
Yeah.
because he is a hot and cold player. He really is. We've known that forever about him. It could also mean that he just won $1 million for finishing fourth place and doesn't give a
Yeah.
damn. So I'm going to go with the first part. Though I'm going to go with I think the Kiz can. This is a good course for him. He's a guy that hits. He can pretty much hit every shot that he wants to hit. Hits long irons well, accurate off the tee. Good putter, all of those kind of things. I think that I think Kiz can have a good week here on this course. Now he's never like been lights out on this course, but still, I like his. I like it. I mean, 75-1, a guy coming off of that. Yeah.
Oh, JT John Tiller is on the back for him too on Sunday. I guess Dewey.
Dewey was
It's a tough
sick.
week. Was
He
he sick?
left actually in the after the 5th hole of that round.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Oh, was
Yeah.
that a separate text you had going that you didn't put me on, buddy?
No, actually, it was me listening to another podcast that he was on. It wasn't a podcast. It was on PGA XM.
Oh.
It was on XM Radio. He did an interview today on a show on that channel,
Oh.
and he said that Dewey got sick and had to basically.
Gotcha.
He tried to gut it out, but JT had to take over.
Okay. Before we get on to the bombs, the live golf event that we're having in September in Pennsylvania, guys, I'm telling you, this thing is popping off. I'm excited. Thank you to all of you who've already signed up. We've had an incredible response already. We're excited about it. But here's what I want to say. I want to give the people an update. The 2-day tickets. So that's the Friday grudge match where you're choosing Team DB or Team Pat. That is the VIP party on Friday night with your teammates, myself, Pat, our teammates, whatever. And that is also the Saturday shenanigans. The 2-day ticket, there are this many left. We have 5 left on Team Pat. Pat's whining and pissing and moaning has finally paid off. And now you've got more people. Well, I started it, and then you just kept going for weeks about it. So anyway, Pat only has 5 spots left, and when those are gone, that is it. That's done. We did decide to open it up to more people, but this is it. So that will be 22 players on each team once both teams are full, and that will be it for Friday. So there will be 44 of you, us, the Tour Junkies family, will all be there. You guys will compete. Me and Pat will ride around as captains, scoping out our team, encouraging, making sure you're well hydrated, doing all the things. And then that will culminate after your 18-hole match play there. That will culminate with a shootout between myself and Pat. You guys will all be surrounding us in golf carts, listening to music, screaming, yelling, drinking, doing whatever. And we're going to decide that the first ever winner of the Golby's Cup, just like that. And it's going to be an amazing night. And then after that, we're all going to have a great time. We're going to eat, we're going to drink, we're going to party. We're going to have a great time at Mountain Valley in Barnesville, Pennsylvania. It's a lovely 36-hole golf country club area there. It's going to be beautiful. They're hosting us. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And so that is those tickets. So Pat has 5 people left. 5. I have 9 spots left on my team. 9 spots for Team DB, 5 spots for Pat. When those are gone, they're gone. All right. Then the Saturday scramble tickets. They're probably close to 100, maybe a little less than 100 of those available. Those are just for all day Saturday. So that's a lunch, that's your round, that's a dinner that night, that's beer, wine, and specialty TJ cocktails throughout the day, and all the other fun that we're going to have that evening. We're going to party Saturday night as well. It's going to be a blast. Okay, we're going to have so much fun. It's going to be the best golf tournament you've ever been to. Don't forget, if you want to spend the night, you can stay on the range. You can sleep on the range and camp out. Bring your own stuff. That's free. You don't have to pay anything. If you want to bring an RV or a camper, you can park in the parking lot. That's free. You don't have to pay anything. But there's also a hotel a few miles away. We have rooms blocked off. When those are gone, they're also gone. So all that information is on the event details. The link is in the podcast description and in this YouTube page. But there was a couple things that came up over the week I want to make sure people know. Yes, you can bring friends. You can bring friends. Even if they don't listen to Tour Junkies, you can bring them. I saw a couple people bought a ticket for Saturday, and they bought 3 more for their buddies. They're bringing their foursome. You can do that. And they're messaging us saying, they don't listen. They don't have to be listeners. What does that say? I can't read my own writing.
I have a question for
Yes.
Sam.
Okay, go ahead.
If people are camping out on the range and stuff, can they have fires? Can we have bonfires on the range, Sam?
Bonfires? I don't know.
Like, what about grills?
Sam says he's going to make a fire pit.
Oh, okay. There you go. What about grills?
He's got it.
Yes to grills. Okay.
Yes,
all right.
yes.
Just a few details that I wanted to know.
You need to know that your ticket includes all your golf, your cart. It includes 2 meals each day. So Friday you're going to get lunch and dinner. Saturday you're going to get lunch and dinner. And it includes your beer, wine, and specialty TJ cocktails. I mean, this is a really great deal. So get in it right now. And when those Friday ones are gone, it's over. And then we're going to start pushing the Saturday scramble. big time. And you can also come as a spectator. We've had a couple
Yeah.
people buy spectator tickets. You can do both days. You can do just Saturday. If you don't play golf, you're just a TJ fan, you want to come hang out, party, meet people, come on. The spectator tickets are also easy, and those include your food and beverage. They just not everything but golf. So knock yourself out. The
Hey, go ahead and get the. I mean, only 5 left for Team Pat. I mean, let's go ahead and fill up Team Pat and make DB beg to get the rest of his. I mean, look, only 5.
Yeah, yeah, only 5. Only 5. 9 for me, 5 for Pat. So let's go. All right, let's keep it moving, Pat. Let's get to the long range up to 130 to 1. I only have a few names here, and I don't really feel great about. Well, I'll tell you the one. So I want to bring this guy up because I've mentioned, HV3 kind of team no putt, whatever, right? Um, Another team no putt guy, and a guy that I had in DFS, and he was looking good and kind of fizzled. He made the cut, and then he fizzled over the weekend. Um, But I'm a sucker for Aaron Wise. Aaron
Mm.
Wise only won one time on the PGA Tour, yet he tends to be a darling for a lot of people in the community. But he's 100 to 1 on DraftKings. Checks the box on approach, bogey avoidance. He's actually shockingly good at for a guy like him that's kind of erratic at times, but hits it a long way off the tee. He avoids bogeys. He plays well on tough tracks. And long term, he hasn't been doing it great lately, but long term and throughout his PGA Tour career, he's been one of the best scramblers on tour, like really good. But he cannot putt. He is 100% team no putt. Now, he was on a decent little run late last year, early this year, where he was like at least positive in strokes gained putting. And the last 2 events, the Arnold Palmer and the Players, he lost 4.5 strokes putting at the API and 5 putting at the Players. Finished 17th at API, 50th at the Players, thanks to, like I said, a rough weekend. But the ball striking has been tremendous the last couple of events. Just strokes gained ball striking, over 7 shots at the Players and over 8 shots at the API. So, I mean, it's just one of those guys like a Luke List that all he needs is 1 week where the putter is average or slightly better than field average, and he's there. So I think I'll have a little. I think I'll have a little Aaron Wise. And actually, last time he played this event was 2018, and he actually gained 3 strokes putting and lost 5.5 tee to green, which is not his mo. So I think I'm going to buy a little Aaron Wise at 101. It's a tempting little piece there. And then maybe I don't know, Pat. Take me to Denny's. What if I told you I wanted to go to
Yes,
Denny's
go
tonight?
to Denny's.
I think I
Get
do.
you some shrimp.
Despite his terrible iron play and historically not being a great long iron player, the putting, the around the green play does avoid the bogeys. I mean, he's interesting. He's had a couple close calls. He was in the mix at the Amex. He was in the mix at the Honda last year, Bermuda, a couple times I think. So I don't know. McCarthy at 90 to 1 just seems like something whatever. He finished ninth here his first time out in 2019. Finished 39th last year. Crushes it on the greens here like he always does. I don't know. Denny feels interesting to me. It just is a name that popped in this range. Felt like I might put a little sprinkle on it. That's probably it for me though.
Okay. That's actually what I feel like he's one of the first people we've agreed on
Oh,
out outside of Uzi. Because I like Denny. Another guy I like, you did not like last week, by the way. You actually walked with his group in the
freaking
practice
Kazire.
rounds. Patton
Did you
Kazire.
see what he did off the tee? Was it not what I said he was doing off the
No,
tee?
you are correct, but he still managed to like Cam Smith.
Also, also, so I told you and I think I put this in the nut hut. He was spraying the ball everywhere off the tee, and then I put this in the nut hut, and I know, or maybe I did. I know I told you on 16 he shanked the ball and almost hit Aaron Fleener in the back of the head, and definitely ended his week and possibly his life. I mean, this
Yeah.
ball was screaming off the hosel.
He also shanked one on 17 during
And
the
then I was
tournament.
gonna say, and then he shanked one on 17. I mean, what I saw was real. He just lucky
He
rabbit
feel
trailed the
he
rest of
still
it.
finished T22.
I know.
like can you
He had
imagine?
10 birdies on Sunday.
I mean, this guy is playing
Did you
really
see the
well.
stash? Did you see the stash?
No, I didn't see
The
it. He's got
mustache is fire. I mean, I gotta say, I don't love the mustache on a lot of people, but it looks good on him. He looks like a longer Doc Redman, like a long Doc,
yeah.
real long. Um,
Yeah, you talking
Kazire's
about
the
like
man.
is he like a Western character? Like from
No, not
Is
like
he he's
EVR
not
looks
like
like
a Doc Holliday or anything like
no,
him.
it's just I don't know, something about it. It's just like really clean. It kind of fits him, It's not like super scraggly. It's not over the top, but it's not like so small. I don't know. It looks good. I like it. I like it on Patton. It looks nice. He's a great
Well,
guy too, man.
I mean,
Patton,
Kezire's
a
he's
lot of
been
fun.
playing really well. I mean, you
He
look at
has
his,
been.
you take in the top 25 last week, then a T32 at the on a Palmer, T61 at Genesis, top 10 in Phoenix. He's really been playing well pretty much all year. So at 130 to 1, a guy that's in good form, who does have experience on this golf course.
Multiple PGA Tour winner, right? Has he won twice?
Yeah,
3
he's
times.
won twice. He had like two and one, two like really close together, didn't he? I could be wrong there, but
Wait, I mean, I just can't tell you how bad he was spraying it that day. God, dog.
well,
He was
you know,
everywhere.
um, anyway, still I like him this week. That's really all I got in this. I mean,
Yeah,
I
it's
had
not my
McCarthy.
favorite game.
This is not a huge range that I love. So
I don't love the next range. I mean, if you look at it over the last few years, Sam Burns won last year at 70 to 1, and Adam Hadwin won at 125 to 1. But other than that, it's been a lot of shorter numbers. Your Paul Casey's at 25 or something to 1. Charles Schwartzel was 33 to 1 when he won. Jordan Spieth is 16 to 1 when he won. So, I mean, it hasn't been, we haven't seen a ton of bombs of late. I mean, Burns is 70 to 1, whatever, but we all knew he was world class coming. He was a winner at every level. So it does feel like the winner's going to come from that 70 and shorter range this week. Yeah, I don't have a ton. I do have some HelloFresh in the fridge though. I'll tell you that, Pat. And whenever I got HelloFresh in the fridge, I usually get happy. Like this week I had Korean meatballs with the rice and the green beans with the
yeah, it's good
what's the
stuff.
barbecue sauce they call it? Um bulgogi sauce. Delicious
Hmm.
stuff. HelloFresh delivers pre-portioned ingredients to your door, including farm fresh produce that arrives within a week. So you get the convenience of you don't Huh, mm. So you get convenience without skipping on quality. Skimping, is that a
See,
word?
it's not
Okay.
as easy as people think to read these
Skip the
things.
trip to the grocery store, saving you the wait in long lines and ensuring you don't waste money on excess food. What I like is you can go in there and you can pick out your meals ahead of time. You can say, nope, don't want that. I want this. I want that. I want this. I want that. It's easy. And they're 72% cheaper than a restaurant meal of the same quality. And you can save on average over $65 a month when you order HelloFresh instead of grocery shopping. That's money back in your pocket, which you need right now with all this inflation and stuff costing stuff, you know? Um, it's great stuff. It really is. So I've been using HelloFresh for over a year now. Enjoy cooking it. Me and the wife, we do it. We turn on some music or something. We have a great time in the kitchen. Maybe gets romantic. Maybe it's a little head start to what you got trying to lock up later. If you're trying to lock that up, be a man in the kitchen. You know what I mean? That handles your business in the kitchen.
Sexy time, I like to call it.
Exactly. Exactly. So go to HelloFresh.com/TourJunkies16 and use code TourJunkies16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. That means you get to gift a meal to somebody else, which is pretty cool. I've done that. So go to HelloFresh.com/TourJunkies16 and use code TourJunkies16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. And we know it, and they know it, and you know it, and your mama knows it. And if she doesn't know it, she should know it. All right, Pat, let's get to it. Any bombs over 160 to 1? I don't have many. I mean, there's so many is so small I can barely read it. Definitely would prefer some of these guys at top 20 numbers. I do want to ask you this though. I just mentioned Doc Redman. Is Doc Redman back? Is he back?
I
Can we say he's back?
I mean, I guess you
I love
could.
Doc Redman. Like I'm a big
I
fan
like Doc. I
of
like
the
Doc.
guy. The
I
guy.
would. I don't think you bet him to win, but yeah, maybe a top 20 or something like that.
So, but Doc in his PGA Tour career, and it's had its ups and downs. He's been in the mix. Like Doc is not one that when he gets, I talked about this with Seabass a couple weeks ago. Seabass hadn't been in the mix yet, late on a Sunday on the PGA Tour. Doc has been through the fire. I mean, one of his first events out in 2019, he was in the fire at the Rocket Mortgage, finished runner up, couldn't get it done. 2020 August, the Wyndham, finished third. I remember that one. I had him bet. I bet him outright that week. 2 weeks later, finished third at the Fortinet. 3 weeks after that, finished fourth at the Bermuda. Um, finished runner-up at the Palmetto last year, the tournament that we won't talk anymore about. Like, Doc has been in the flames a little bit late on a Sunday. But what I'm seeing here lately, because Doc's iron play was always super solid. Like, off the tee and iron play was always super solid, and he lost it for a little bit. But what I'm seeing here lately is, like, 4 out of his last 5 events, gaining strokes on approach, starting to do some things with the putter. 26th at the Players. That's a big deal. 33rd at Pebble Beach, 25th at the Farmers. I don't know. I just feel like he's 190 to 1 on FanDuel, and Redmond just feels like one of those bombs that, I don't know, it could be interesting. I feel like if he got in the mix and he had his best stuff, I think he could actually close the door. I don't think it would be too big for him. I don't think he'd freak out. I think he'd get it done. Um, Another guy kind of like this is a bomb. Just a couple here in the plus 200 number. Danny Lee at 250 to 1.
he kind of showed up for me a
Did
little
he?
bit.
Yeah, he shows up a little bit. He's 250 to 1 on BetMGM. Danny Lee, what can we say about Danny Lee? I mean, he's Danny Lee. He's as volatile as they come. But he's popped some form a little bit, and he's played the Valspar decent. He's got a 21st here last year, finished 7th in 2015 here. His place tends to serve, suit his eye, I guess. 21st at the Genesis earlier. I don't know. Danny Lee at 250. Matt Naismith at 250, I like. Ball striker. You just, like Aaron Wise, you're waiting on the putter. Now, he hadn't really been in it late, so I don't know if that's really going to happen, but it's a number. Hank Lebioda at 280 to 1. I have on authority that Hank definitely he finished 63rd at the Genesis, but he hit it better than it may have appeared. I think he caught a couple bad breaks off the tee, leading him to lose 4 shots off the tee while gaining 5 on approach, which is very good. So, and Hank can kind of he tends to run like real hot and cold. So, if the irons are turning up, he had that little run in the summer last year, 5th at the Travelers, 4th at the Rocket Mortgage, 8th at the John Deere, where everybody's like, "Oh my God, here comes Hank Lebioda," and then he fizzled out. He's at 280 to 1. I don't know. He's been tested by the fire a little bit. Not a lot, but just a little bit. So, I don't know. I don't know if I'll bet any of those, but those are some long shots if you're interested that caught my eye.
Well, I'll give you a couple here that I like. I think in the right at 190 to 1, 200 to 1 range, I think Nick Taylor is a decent play here.
Yep, he popped for me
This
too.
just feels like a good course fit for him. Um, right around with the other Taylor, Vaughn Taylor, another one. These are two guys that
Boy, Vaughn Taylor just kills the models this week. Like,
yeah, and they've both won on the same course, Pebble Beach. But I think if you look at their games, they're just really good off the tee. Good ball
don't make big
striker.
numbers.
Yeah, they don't make it's there's not a whole lot of excitement to their games, but that's what you get this week on this course. Another one I'm kind of surprised you didn't mention, and this is who knows? Maybe he gets his first ever win here, and he doesn't have any experience here at all. But he's a guy that we've been talking about pretty much all year at most events, and that's Grayson Sigg at 200 to 1. He's another one that I think can.
Been burning me, man. I'm a little burned by him.
You burned out by some Sigg.
Yeah, he's hurt me the weeks I've been on him.
Yeah.
He's like a young Gary Woodland to me right now. Like, when I'm on him, he sucks. When I'm off him, he's top 25. I mean, we're gonna have him on the show. We've been talking to him, so I'm gonna ask him about it. But I just
I
can't.
think I like him better as a top 20, but if we're giving an outright and 200 to 1, it's not terrible.
All right, there you go. There's the bombs. Let's talk a little prize picks before we dish out our favorite outright bets. PrizePicks last week was probably our worst week. We've been pretty hot. The FGS has definitely been hot. FGS is, got a great winning percentage going right now. The show last week we went 1-2. FGS went 3-2. So not super good, but we're getting there.
Last week we got caught. I got caught a little bit, not necessarily on the Fantasy Golf Sommelier, but I did on my own personal plays with some of the wave stuff because I put in plays Wednesday night that had some afternoon guys, and then it just got totally screwed. So
Yeah. I did
Good on PrizePicks for that.
yeah, Monday, god dang it. Late on Monday, I did bring it to the attention of some nut hutters that they just like randomly threw up some hole 16 props and like birdie or total score numbers on that, and I feasted on that because it was all at 4.5, and I was picking the over and unders or whatever. I would pick two guys, and I'd do the flex play where you only have to get one right, and I made money on every single group. So as long as I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it on the first group. If I hit, I'm gonna keep going, and I just kept going until they didn't offer them anymore, and I made like $150. It was easy. So PrizePicks is killing it. It's great stuff, man. We really appreciate PrizePicks. And listen, we need to make an announcement here too, Pat.
Oh,
Big
is
announcement.
it announcement time?
Let's do it. The
Okay.
road to Augusta, presented by PrizePicks. We are so thrilled that PrizePicks chose to partner with us and do this. We wanted to do this contest so bad. We did it years ago, like 2016, 2017. We did it with another company that's no longer in existence anymore. But it was just such a great time to host a listener to Augusta and get to show them the ropes. And you guys responded. We did this, we did the contest over the last 6 weeks or so. PrizePicks generously has volunteered to fly out not just a listener but also a guest, put him up in a hotel for 3 nights, treat him to a round of golf with me and Pat on Monday at Champions Retreat, dinner Monday night, party Monday night at Champions, Tuesday spend all day out at Augusta and having a great time. It's just going to be an awesome time. And PrizePicks notified us of the winner that was randomly selected over at PrizePicks. We couldn't find a way to make it happen live here, but a winner has been selected. And I do have to say, for those of you that are not the winner has accepted the offer and has cleared their schedule, and it is done. It is locked up. Airline tickets are bought. It's over. Because I know one year we did this.
Boom.
One year we did this, Pat. Remember, like the guy didn't respond for 24 hours, and people were like, all right, if he doesn't respond, we draw again. And so we drew again. And then the one guy who couldn't get off of work, like literally his boss wouldn't let him off of work to go to Augusta. So this one's done. The winner of the 2022 PrizePicks Road to Augusta, coming to Augusta, Georgia, is Mr. Steve Smetana. I think that's, how do you say his name, Pat? Oh, nice. Steve
Smetana.
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 Steve is a Nut Hut member, which I'm pumped about.
That's amazing.
Schmitty, he goes by in the Nut Hut. Schmitty88, I think. Nut Hut member. And I'm also really excited about this. Me and Pat love treating people who have never been to the Masters.
Yes.
We love treating them. Steve has never been, and he's bringing his son who's never been. So that's awesome. Super pumped about that. We just can't wait. It's going to be a great time. Thank you to everybody who played. Thank you to PrizePicks. Steve is in. It's going to be a great contest. And for everyone else, I'm sorry you're not Steve, but he seems like a great guy, very deserving.
Yeah.
Okay. That's that. Let's get to the picks, Pat. Now we're going to do a couple extra picks because you're not going to be doing Fantasy Golf Sommelier this week because of the weird schedule, right?
Yep. Not going to be able to do it this week because usually I record tonight. And since we're doing the show tonight, I'm not going to be able to do it. So we'll be back on that next week.
Okay.
Going strong leading up to the Masters. So I'm going to give you 2 picks. Okay.
Great. I love this.
Because usually I do one. And I'm going to start with this. I'm going to the hole plays. So on number 11, which is a par 5, it is the second easiest hole on the course. Pretty fairly, it's a straightforward par 5. It does get a little tight kind of in the landing areas. But there's a little narrow window that you can hit it into. But if you get it in there, it's only 575 yards. These guys can score on this hole. I like Victor Hovland the under on this hole. Okay, he is the number 1 player in this field in par 5 scoring. I liked what I saw from Victor last week. He was so up and down, but the kid fought, man. I love Victor. I'm such a big Hovland fan. But I like him for round number 1. I think
not Daniel Berger.
I know Berger's not. Berger's not. Or maybe so. I don't know. They get into these things like on the course, and then maybe afterwards they all like have a good laugh, and they're like, I was overreacting a little bit or something. Kind of like me. It happens to me on the course all the time.
Yeah.
So number 11, par 5 under 4.5. I like Victor Hovland there. And these guys I think are going to score on day one. And that's where I think we got a little bit of an edge. Okay. And so I'm going to give you one, and then I'm going to let DB give you a few others.
I thought you
I
were giving
think
us two.
I think they're going to make some birdies out here. And so I'm going to hammer the over on total birdies. And I like Dustin Johnson over 3.5 birdies on Thursday. Okay. So he's just got to get 4 birdies. They've got 4 par 5s. Just give me, I don't care. He's going to have birdies out here. I think he can at least have 5, but it doesn't matter. All he's got to do is get 4. So DJ over 3.5 on total birdies.
Yeah, I think right now, I mean, you guys need to do this because I think PrizePicks is going to change some of this. The weather looks perfect for Thursday as of now, as of Tuesday. It looks warm enough, no wind. I mean, last year there were 41 guys that shot 2 under or better on this golf course on day one. Keegan Bradley was your first round leader at 7 under, and most of the birdie or better props are currently set at 3.5. I mean, that's to get 4 birdies on a course with 4 par 5s where 41 people shot 2 under or better last year, and the first round leader was 7 under is not that hard to do. So I think you pound the overs on some of these birdie or better numbers as long as it stays at 3.5, especially. Pat mentioned DJ. Um, Russell Knox is one I like the most. His number is at 3, and Russell Knox has done very well at this golf course, comes in fantastic form. I think that one is as big a lock as there's ever been.
Yeah.
So at 3 or 3.5, I would play that one with Russell Knox. And Shane Lowry's at 3.5, who's playing hot right now. So, I mean, I think you pound the over on birdie or better. If I was going to take an under somewhere just for kicks and giggles, actually, let me make sure that the under is still where it's at. Let's see here. Yeah, it is. Yes, for both. I'm gonna give you some bonus plays tonight because I like these numbers a lot. I'm taking the under on total strokes round one for Harold Varner at 72. So that just means all he has to shoot is even par. It's a par 71. Harold Varner shoots even par, coming off a great week at the Players.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
do
a
it.
good. I didn't even see that one. That's a good number.
And Keegan's at 71. So all he has to do to hit the under is shoot 1 under. This guy he was shot 7 under in round 1 last year. And we know how hot he can be. And he's hot right now. So, I mean, unless he's just completely emotionally spent after the week that he had and the wacky turn of events on Sunday, I don't know. I still see Keegan coming out here and shooting at least 1 under or better. So there we go. PrizePicks plays. Shout out to PrizePicks. You can still sign up for PrizePicks and use promo code TJ. Get a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. It's legal in like 26 states. It's just the best. It's the most fun. I'm winning more money on PrizePicks right now than I am DFS.
Yeah,
I broke even in DFS last week. I won money on PrizePicks.
it really is a lot of fun too, and especially since you can kind of live
Yeah,
play it like you did last week for the on hole number 16 on
yeah.
Monday. I mean,
I do
that's
way
because
better doing this live than I do
yeah,
showdowns.
and they're adapting to things as they're happening in the turn. I mean, like
Yep.
Noah, like you wouldn't see this on a DFS site, where they put up something and said, all right, we're going to play hole number 16 on a Monday when they've had delays all week. I mean, it really is. It's a fun way to really play, more games throughout the tournament.
Yep. Love it. All right, sign up. All right, let's get to the final segment for tonight's show. We're going to recap some stuff, Pat. We've got, we've gone through a lot of names here, and we need to go over the ones we like the most, the ones we think you need to jump on right now, and some top 20s as well. And I have a couple props I'm going to throw out, or one prop I'm going to throw out. Presented to you by covers.com. Winning starts at Covers. Go there, check out our article. I got 3 head-to-head matchups, 2 nationality props, and a top 40 that I'm about to give you right now. I'm gonna go ahead and give you a sneak preview of that one. Pat, my top 40. I'm gonna hit you with this right off the bat. I have a top 40 bet, Pat, that I love.
Wow.
And I don't
Okay.
bet top 40 bets. Wesley Bryan, aka Wedgley Bryan.
Oh man.
Wedgley Bryan.
Here we go again. Wesley Bryan
is at 5-1. 5-1 to top 40. Basically, just to make the cut and do a little bit better. Like, make the cut, do a little bit better. 5-1. He is on the final start of his major medical exemption. This is the spot he chose. He can choose. He chose Copperhead. He chose Innisbrook. Rightfully so. He finished 48th here last year, which isn't great, but he did finish 7th here his first time out in 2017. Wesley Bryan fits the mold here. He hits a lot of fairways. He's a decent iron player, historically a really good wedge player and putter, although he hasn't shown a lot of form of late. But we just saw a guy named Ryan Brim, who in the last start of his major medical had to finish second or win to retain full status on the PGA Tour at the Puerto Rico. And what did he do? He won at the Puerto Rico. Like, these guys get a little extra juice in their loins.
He didn't just win; he won like by 5
He won handily.
strokes.
These guys get a little extra juiced up when it comes to that. Now Wesley is a former winner, so he's gonna have lifetime status to some extent as a past champion. He's got some conditional status. He's not gonna fully go away if he doesn't do this. But I think he has to finish like a solo 6th or better to get full status, and I think he has to finish like 50th or something or better to get conditional. So he's gonna be gunning. I mean, like, he's coming into this ready to go. He's not wasting the start if he's not. So there we go. I'm going Wesley Bryan. You mentioned Vaughn Taylor. Vaughn Taylor's 9-1 to top 20. I mean, he checks all the boxes, whatever. Vaughn Taylor top 20, I'll go with that. Russell Knox, who I've gone on and on about tonight, love him, plus 275 top 20, and Alex Noren plus 280 top 20. Love those top 20 numbers. And then my favorite outrights that I think you need to jump on now would be Aaron Wise, who I mentioned at 100-1. I think that number gets shorter, and all we need is just average putting week from Aaron Wise, and we're in contention. And then Russell Knox and Alex Noren at 70-1. I think you jump on those.
Okay. Well, a few more. Well, these are your favorites that you just gave, because you just switched totally
Yes.
from. Okay. So I like Uzi at 24-1. Big fan of his, and I'm a huge fan of Abraham Answer at 35-1. Those are my two favorites there in that kind of shorter range. Mid range, I love Adam Hadwin at 60-1. If we're looking at some top 20 plays, there's a few here that I really like. One, here's a name for you. Graham McDowell.
Ooh. Woof.
Plus 750. I think Graham McDowell could have a good week. This is like, he's another guy that kind of picks his spots. This is a good course fit for him. He's not very long or anything, but he's straight, good ball striker. I like Graham McDowell there at plus 750. A couple others that I like here, if you're looking at just top 20s that are my favorite this week. I like Patton Kizzire at plus 450. I mentioned him as an outright. And then this is kind of like a fear of missing out. So I don't want to, this is a FOMO play. I'm not going to bet him outright because I don't think he can win. But Troy Merritt, Troy Merritt's going to end up on the leaderboard somewhere. He's at plus 410. I like him also as a top 20 bet. And then the last one that I will give you here in this top 20 range is Kiz. At plus 300, top 20. I love that one. That's my favorite top 20 right there.
Okay. Believing in the Kisner. Hey, I forgot to mention this. We're going to give away a Masters t-shirt. We're going to wrap up the show tonight, but here's a way to get yourself a Masters t-shirt. We got a few of these left. They're from the 2020 Masters. So that really weird November Masters. It says 2020 Masters Augusta National Golf Club on it. We've got some XLs and some larges left. So if you're not an XL or large, then won't worry about it. Or you could give it as a gift. There you go. All you got to do to win is comment here on this YouTube video. Drop your Twitter and/or your Instagram handle. Twitter and/or Instagram handle right here on the YouTube channel. Give it a like. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe, comment, all that goodness. And listen, let's have a great week. We'll see you next week. Let's bend over your bookie. See ya. Out.
We're the tour junkies. We're the tour junkies. PGA Tour fanatics, golf addicts, podcast juice, you gotta have it. Special guest, DFS, DB in them long shot bets. From Augusta to Sawgrass, we got your picks, we got your stats. Catch a buzz, catch a laugh, sip some rosé with Pat. Tour junkies. We're the tour junkies.